we're in Yosemite. I'm actually a little bit lost. I should have learned by now from all the national parks we've been to that cell service is incredibly spotty. Maps are even more spotty. I have a hand map. I know we're in the valley. I know Half Dome is off to my left. So we're going to try and go on a walk through the sequoias. So you can join with, and I'll update in a sec.
Get off the road. Get off the road. Get off the road. Get off the road. So, it's over here. I'm going to tell you this. Please, it's not arguing for once in your life. For once in your life.
Why would they have that white line there?
For once in your life.
Yeah, there was something up there that was clearly a tourist spot. Even if it was just the valley thing, it was clearly some method, some interest point.
Beautiful day, not too warm.
Yeah, it's a little hot, but nothing terrible. Nothing like yesterday.
Nowhere near like it was yesterday. You guys, there's bikes behind you. Get over to the side, please.
This would be a nice place to actually take a bike ride. I don't know. It said that the Mariposa Grove, when we get to it, has 500 of these trees. What I'm seeing is a lot more than 500 trees. So I don't know what a redwood is and what isn't, but it said these are the giant ones, the biggest ones that exist. And these don't look anything like the pictures that I've seen of people driving cars through the trunks. So that makes me wonder that maybe this ain't them. The village thing was off to the left over here. Oh, I got you. I thought we were even going straight. I get it. Well, that is actually pretty big, whatever that is. So. We decided to go ahead and take a 2-hour valley tour that's with an open air bus. So figured that would be an opportunity to actually go ahead and get more information than you normally get just by self-walking. So here we go.
Pretty hot as we're going around the valley today. We'll be out for roughly 2 hours, so also make sure you're staying hydrated along the way. So while we're going down the beautiful Yosemite Valley, we're going to treat this tram like it's a roller coaster. We're going to keep our hands and feet inside at all times. We have had people try to high-five trees in the past. Didn't end up too good for their hand. So just keep everything in at all times. We're also a long time. As we're coming around over here, if you start to look look out to your right-hand side as we pull out onto the road, it'll be your first glimpse of Yosemite Falls. We'll see it a bunch throughout the tour today, but this is just your first glimpse of it. And as we're pulling out on the road, I'm going to have you keep on looking over to the right-hand side. You may notice those cluster of tents in there, and you may be wondering why I'm pointing out a cluster of tents and how could this campground be so significant to Yosemite Valley today. And a fun fact about this Camp 4 campground is that it is actually the birthplace of big wall climbing. Way back when, during World War II, people had heard about our tall, sheer granite mountains, and they had an idea of how to get over those big walls. So they come to this Camp 4 campground, they share those ideas, they'd invent techniques, and they would discuss routes of getting over our big walls. There was a time, however, whenever a big flood came through this area, it wiped out the campground and other things along the way. So the National Park had ideas of putting up buildings in this area. But those people who had been coming here for all those years building those big wall ideas said, no, this is our holy ground, this is where we can build big wall climbing, you can't get rid of it. So in 2003 they put it on the National Register of Historic Places to be preserved today. So if you're staying in this Camp 4 campground, you'll still hear people talking about different techniques and ideas of getting over our big walls. Some bigger brands that came from that Camp 4 campground that we know today, Patagonia and North Face. And back there on your right-hand side. This Wahoga village is connected with the 7 traditionally associated tribal members of the area. They were some of the first people to enter the Yosemite Valley, and they've been caring and nurturing for this land since. This area is not open to the public today, but it is still in use for private resources for those 7 traditionally associated tribal members. One of the things that those 7 traditionally associated tribal members protected while they were here are our rock formations. So if you start to look out to your left-hand side, this is known as Sentinel Rock, which is one of our more iconic geological features here in the park. So Sentinel Rock, as we're going along, keep an eye out for wildlife as well. A lot of times you'll often see them in these meadow systems. Can't guarantee that you will see anything out there because, after all, it is wildlife, but you could spot one along the way today. Mainly what you're seeing as these volcanic mountain tops with lava coming out, exploding on the surface, and slowly cooling fast over time. So these volcanic mountain tops that were forming is due to the tectonic plate moving those continental and oceanic plates around. But what was happening here is a process called submersion. the back of some of those granites which would be that feldspar or glaze. And again, all of these minerals cool slowly together underground over time, forming this bigger formation of rock known as granite. So cathedral spires. That is known as the nose of El Capitan. And then on the right-hand side of that nose, that part that's sticking out towards the top, that's known as the Dawn Wall, which is a popular climbing route today. Oftentimes, as the summer heat settles in, our climbers will move to higher elevations because it's much cooler up there. So the best time to come see climbers up on that El Capitan would be around the fall time and the springtime. The average person to make it up this 3,000-foot wall takes around 3 to 5 days.
Wow.
Which means they're sleeping on it at night. I don't know about you, couldn't pay me $1 million to sleep on a wall at night. I'm okay, I like the ground. But these are a climber up there. The longer you sit here and look at that formation, the more climbers you start to see pop up. Another popular climbing route is coming up where there's at another time. You can always come back at nighttime because a lot of times you'll see their headlamps lit up on that wall at night. But again, it is very hot here in the valley. And
Heart, it's right there. It's behind the tree a little bit.
as we're going through, keep looking at that wall, see if you can spot any climbers. But again, there's not many up there because it is so hot in the season already. And I just got done telling you that the average waterfalls is a waterfall that does flow year-round. So whatever time you come to Yosemite, you will see water flowing from it. So Bridal Veil Falls, and we'll see it in just a moment where you guys will be able to get out and actually take pictures with it. So these volcanic mountaintops are being stripped away, eroded down, and that material is making all the way to the
Go on, Silas. Yeah, why don't you take your shoes off if you're going to do this? Then don't do it.
It'll sure make your tunnel view trip a lot easier.
in this area. So the ice and snow would have been to the height of that formation. How these glaciers erode the landway is very, very special. And they do this from a process called plucking and abrasion. Plucking is kind of like that rock fall, water sweeping through the top of our granite formation, and as it's coming down, it's loosening those bonds. But because it is so cold, eventually that water freezes, and once water freezes, it expands. So as it's doing that, it's breaking away from the rock and is being sucked up into the glacier like a vacuum. So this process is going on. These formations of rocks are being broken away, they're being sucked into the glacier, and that glacier is carrying them off into other places. And as it's doing this, it's going to be an example of a hanging valley. This is our next stop of the day. We're very simple people. There's a tunnel, there's a view, so tunnel view. And while we're here, take note of what that looks like. You'll see these smooth granite cliffs, you'll see the nice U-shaped valley, and you'll see other fascinating formations here. You'll see Half Dome in the back, Clouds of Rest in the very back, which is the tallest point you can see from the valley floor. And you'll see El Capitan and Bridal Veil Falls. If you're wanting to know more of the formations, just come up, find me, ask me any questions you may have, and I can also take pictures of you guys. Wait for the step to be fully extended out before we exit, which is Yosemite. But this is Bridal Veil Falls. If you are looking at that, you notice that black part behind it. If you're to come here in the springtime, that is where our waterfall is at the most full, because it's all that fresh ice and snow that's being melted away. If you're looking to the right of that Bridal Veil Falls, that is known as Leaning Tower, which is another popular climbing destination, especially in the summertime because it's more in the shade than El Capitan. So Bridal Veil Falls and Leaning Tower. So those California gold rush miners heard of our tall mountains, and they said those have to be loaded with gold, and we're going to make a lot of profit off this land. They also saw our tall trees that were on the outside edges, and they said we can make a lot of money off of lumber as well, and we're going to profit from this. Fire does come, that means that there's not enough water in them to fight off that fire as well, so they're burning up in flames even more. What we also started to notice is that all these smaller trees were causing more debris on the valley floor, which means that when a fire does come through this area, it became even more big and more catastrophic. You would think the opposite, where sometimes the fires should be smaller. But if you have all this debris building up on the valley floor and there's more for that fire to burn, that results in even bigger, more catastrophic fires. So we started to see a lot of changes in this landscape. That, or on the other side, is El Capitan again. Falls, one of the tallest waterfalls in North America, which has a little trickle of water coming over it. Yosemite Falls does not flow year-round, so it is about at the end of its lifespan for this season. The best time to come see it is in the springtime when that snow and ice is being melted away and there's plenty to be melted still. If you look to the left of that Yosemite Falls in that indented area, that is where that water used to flow. But a moraine, that speed hump, was left at the top of that formation. That water was no longer able to get over it, so it was forced to move somewhere else, and it moved up top of that formation where it flows down to now. So thanks to the glaciers, we now claim it as one of the tallest waterfalls in North America, standing at 2,425 feet tall. You can hike to the upper Yosemite Falls today through that old area where the water used to flow. It is a very strenuous hike, so if you are looking to do that, be prepared to go up a lot of elevation and bring plenty of water along the way. So Yosemite Falls, and we'll see it again in a little bit, but for now I'm going to point out it's got that swell butt that goes out.
Oh.
Sequoia trees and incense cedars are the same family, but incense cedars are straight up and down. Sequoia trees' butts go out. So these are 2 ponderosa trees with that alligator skin, 3 incense cedars with that straight up and down bark, and then coming up we have another baby sequoia tree. If you're wanting to see a more mature sequoia tree, you can head down to the Mariposa of giant sequoias and see a more mature sequoia tree. We have what we call the grizzly giant down there, which is around 3,000 years in age, which is part of the reason it was protected in that Yosemite grant of 1864. So these trees have been here for a very long time, and we started to affect them greatly.